The Alaska State Fair kicks off in 3 days at the fairgrounds in Palmer.
Can't wait to eat. You know there's going to be good food, fun, rides, exhibits, performances, but do you know how it all got started? Well, we know someone who certainly does. Author Laurel Downey-Bill joins us back on the couch for story time with Aunt Phil. Good morning.
Good morning.
So nearly 80 years ago now, what was the catalyst for the Alaska State Fair?
Well, the Alaska State Fair began because of those adventurous souls who came north following the call of President Roosevelt when he wanted farmers to come north and settle the Matanuska Valley.
So what was going on before they arrived?
Before that, you had the Russians. They were dabbling a little bit with the fertile soils of the valley and teaching the Dena'ina Indians how to grow crops like potatoes and carrots and radishes and things. And then you also had prospectors and some entrepreneurs dabbling with agriculture when Alaska became part of the United States in 1867. Actually, some of them planted crops in the sod roofs of their cabins. And then we have pictures showing hotels in Knik that also had growing potatoes for their hotel guests, and residents that were cultivating oats, as well as miners cutting hay for their horses.
So even after all that, though, for the rest of the century and through the early 1900s, though, agriculture was, I don't want to call it non-existent, but there still wasn't a lot of it on, say, a commercial scale.
That's true. The U.S. Department of Agriculture had established an experimental station that was near the town of Matanuska, which is by the coal fields, in 1917. And those folks, along with the Alaska Railroad people, were trying to encourage more farmers and ranchers to come into the Matanuska Valley, but they weren't having very much success. Ironically, it took the Great Depression of the 1930s to bring people up. When Roosevelt, one of his new deals was to establish agricultural communities throughout the United States. But his people would only accept applications from those who lived in northern states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, to come north because he didn't think anybody else would be able to handle the extreme cold. So in May 1935, we had 202 families come by steamship into Seward, and then go by train on up into Palmer, where they found a tent city, sort of, to settle into while they got their land lots, and then they spent the summer and fall clearing land and hauling their tents to their property and trying to build a frame home before Christmas started. The winter started. And so yeah, in 1936, that summer, they had some really nice vegetables. And so that's when they held the first state fair to show off the vegetables. They had a cutest baby contest. They also had a fair queen, and they also held sporting events where they had competitions.
A cutest baby contest.
I love it.
Would that fly today?
I think so.
Yeah?
Who knows? But the rest is history,
Yes, we've had an annual fair ever since 1936, except for 5 years during World War II, when they had to take a little hiatus. But now, gosh, we have world-class acts that come up to the state fair, and of course, those vegetables have grown bigger and bigger. We now have cabbages that tip the scales at over 100 pounds. You've got those super long zucchinis, and not to mention pumpkins that are now the size of smart cars.
Oh my gosh, it's
and
true.
you'll be at this year's fair inside your swanky cabin, right? People should stop by and say hello?
Oh, please, yes, I will be there from Thursday until Labor Day, and my cabin is on the Purple Trail, and I'm going to have on display an 1891 typewriter, as well as a crystal chandelier that I hand carried all the way back from California. So do come by and see me if you come to the fair. Purple Trail.